we know the story, we're familiar with the story that God had told Adam what he's supposed to do. He told him what he should tell his wife, how they both should stay away from the tree of knowledge, and they had responsibility, and that responsibility was to take care of the garden. So God gives us all commitments. He wants us to be committed to the thing that he assigns our hand to do. So whatever God has assigned you to do, if God assigned you to it, you should be committed to do what God has assigned you to do. If you think about it, most of us are all committed. Commitments are not always fun. We can say that. We can say that with pure conscience, that when we are committed to things, even the things that God have assigned us to, they're not always pleasant. But we know if we have been assigned to it, if we have been given it, then God wants us to be committed to doing what he has called us to do. And all of us that are here, that are husbands and wives, we're committed to each other. Even if you don't like each other. Which, I think we all right now. But you're committed to each other. And the reason I know you're committed to each other because you're still with each other. We're all still with each other. So that means that we made some type of commitment that, and I'm going to use this terminology, come hell or high water, I'm not going nowhere unless I get $1 million. So we all have made a commitment to be there. So Adam was committed. He was committed to that. In Ephesians, didn't anybody have any questions about that part of that we went over, about Adam and Eve? I just wanted to start from the beginning. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Probably totally irrelevant, but
no, it's not.
I just want to know why does the rib have some significance? Why did he pick the rib to start the morning?
Well, it says that he took him out of his side. I don't know everything about it, but I would say this. Your rib is where your heart is. Your ribs protect your heart. And I believe that God wanted to take her out of his side because she was to be by his side. I think it's all symbolic while it all actually happened. I believe it's all symbolic. So my wife's supposed to be by my side. She's supposed to be close to my heart. So we have your ribs protect your organs. So he did tell Adam that his wife was going to be his helpmeet. So our ribs protected. Our wives are supposed to be part of the things that protect us. Now there may be some other spiritual concepts to that, but those are the things that I can think of right now. And if any of you have any commentaries or any things that you can pull up on, that's what I like about today's technology. You can get it right. You can get it right away when we know how to get it. So that's not insignificant. That's a significant question, and I'm glad you brought it up. And I like your haircut too. Smooth.
I think you can relate.
All right. So now, again, in Ephesians 6, it says, "Hello, how are you?" Good. We heard somebody come in. We didn't quite see who it was, but we knew somebody was back. But we was all ready. Ephesians 6, and it tells us about everybody has a commitment. Husbands have a commitment to wives, wives have a commitment to husbands, and they both have a commitment to the children as well as the children having a commitment to their parents. As we see in Ephesians 6, it says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And you fathers provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. So we see here that when Paul is speaking, he's writing to the Ephesians, and he's telling them, he's speaking to the children, which was rare. You know, normally, people are trying to get children out of the way. Get out of here. But we already know that Jesus has said what? Suffer those little children to come under. So in the audience that he's talking to, in the congregation that he's talking to, writing to, he says, first of all, children, you need to do what? Obey your parents. But then he says, obey them what? In the Lord. So he made a distinction there. In other words, as a child, I'm going to have to obey my parent anyway, when I'm a child. But then he makes a distinction, obey them in the Lord. In other words, there may be some things that they tell you to do that you might have to shy away from. However, obey your parents in the Lord. I've heard of children doing some crazy stuff for their parents because it's their parents. And children normally do things that their parent tell them to do regardless to what it is. You can tell a child to do some crazy stuff if you're a parent. And they'll do it. But the parent is going to be held responsible for making that child do things that they shouldn't have done. However, when you become of a certain age, there's certain things that you can tell your parent, I love you, but I'm not doing that. Not doing that. That's not of God. I can't do that. That violates the principles of the Lord. Yes, sir.
Just have a perfect negative example of that with a nut. Send a little girl to steal a package the other week there.
Oh, wow. I don't think I caught that.
You didn't see that yet?
I don't think I caught it. Let's slip.
The porch pirate.
Porch pirate, he had a little girl, what was she, about 4 or 5?
No more than 6. They don't know.
And he sent her to steal a package off of these people's porch.
Oh, I think you did mention that to me. Yeah.
And I was saying to myself, that is low down for a so-called parent.
Exactly.
But they got it. They got it there, and he's going to pay the consequences, just like you're saying.
Exactly.
It's out straight.
But then you look at what did he put in that child?
Yeah.
Because children, like I always when we know better, we're supposed to do better.
Mm-hmm.
And when we learn things, we're supposed to do better. Being in counseling and stuff like that, I learned things about, and especially learning about trauma-informed care and all those type of things that we even have to teach on the job. The thing is that children, their minds are in the development stage. So as early as coming out of the womb, they are all there soaking stuff in, and you don't know how much a child is taking in. So a lot of people think that, oh, that's a baby. They don't know how that is, what that is. But you'll be surprised how many babies are depressed based off of their environment, or before they came out of the womb, what they was dealing with before they even came out of the womb. Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. This is somewhat on the same topics. There's a video going around, it's pretty viral, happening in North Carolina, where a whole bunch of kids were acting rowdy. They were 12, 13-year-old kids outside of a mall. This 51-year-old white guy, he was 6'5", 250. Little 12-year-old girl acting up, jumped in his face. He shoved her real hard, and she fell down, got back up and ran at him. He punched her and knocked her out.
He hit her like a man.
He hit her like a man. So I like to read people's comments, and you'd be surprised how many people were holding the little girl accountable, right? And I had replied, said, hey, she was wrong, she was out of order, nonetheless, but but her mindset is not the same mindset of a 51-year-old man. And so folks, man, they were coming at me hard, and then one guy said, all right, that was a black man, 6'5", 250, who hit a 12-year-old white girl, how would you feel? They got quiet.
They always get quiet.
But my point was, she was wrong. There's 2 left shoes. My daughter, I'll be very upset with her if I found out. But the thing that came out was he went in there trying to tell them to calm down. He jumped in it. It wasn't like they were harassing them. They were just being kids. Kids get on my nerves like you wouldn't believe.
Right.
You're like, okay, let me go over here because they're gonna make me mad. But he went there trying to regulate and got caught up. So I mean, so I was just trying to throw that out to the church. But what's your thoughts on that? Because a lot of folks are like, man, she better stop running on folks. I couldn't believe they was like attacking this young girl.
But like you said, when somebody reversed it,
But when they reversed it, you could hear
it always get quiet. You
a
heard
gnat in the corner.
Exactly. It always get quiet because a lot of times people, and you know, it's just the truth of the matter. We have a deep root of racism in this country, and I understand that some of our teens are terrible. I understand that.
Absolutely.
But I saw the video, the portion that I saw that was played. I saw all that was played. And my thing is, if it had been my 12-year-old and that man hit her like that, I would want to tear his head off. That's the way I'm just saying. I would really want to seriously hurt him.
Me too.
Because of her age and the way he hit her. And the shove that he gave her.
Yeah, sure. Threw across the whole room.
You know, if she had, and the thing is, it's just the truth. If she had been Caucasian, he probably wouldn't have hit her like that. But again, the way our country is and the way we as a people get treated sometimes, it's not right. And I think, again, teens are teens. They don't think before they act. They react to think before they think. And sometimes it's a negative consequences. That's why we have so many dying, you know. I saw your hand, sir.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
It's on YouTube.
You can go ahead.
Oh, he got North Carolina. He got arrested subsequently. He got arrested, but he was bailed out quickly afterwards.
I used to wonder what children heard or knew about while they were in the room.
Mm-hmm.
But when Talia and Larry got remarried,
Mm-hmm.
and she was dancing in Jackson to this song,
Mm-hmm.
and he told her, "Mama, that's the song you used to sing to me when I was in your stomach."
Mm-hmm.
And he told her about some of the things that she had read to him while he was in New York.
Wow.
You know,
Look
that's
at
why
that.
I don't.
That's why he's a brilliant person, because his mind is the memory.
Yeah, he has,
And when you were a baby, you can remember from the womb. Only thing I ever seen that on was that show you like with the guy who they got the show as him as a little child now.
I know they're both
The
geniuses.
Big Bang, the Big Bang Theory, but the
Big
child.
Bang Theory,
Yeah, but he's
little
the
guy.
spin-off from it, you know,
Shelton.
from when he was be a child. He can remember all of that. Shelton, right, Shelton. There you go. I seen that on TV. But he's the first person that I know as a child that can remember from the womb. But the reality is, how much of us do remember things from the womb, we just don't know where it comes from. And how many of us do things that we just don't know where it comes from. Or we seen things and don't know where we saw it.
oh yes, and he also told her that he knew he was a twin because he used to talk to his brother,
Are you serious?
and the twin died.
Wow. And nobody told him that.
And Jeff just reminded me of that about the brother.
Wow. That's remarkable. That's really remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jackson, if he is a genius, you know, but at the same time, if he doesn't become something very special for God.
Did you look to see?
Not yet, I haven't seen it yet. Every time it comes past my mind, I'm doing something, and then I'm tired. You know what I'm
It was
saying?
awesome to hear him.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I will check it out because I'm sure you have it on your page.
Yeah.
And
No, it's
I
not
know-
about
And I
me.
know it's on
Okay,
Taylor's
yes,
page. Okay. I thought you might share it.
yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, but what he was talking about, yes, the guy, he was wrong, you know, for putting his hands in. But now when we think, if you're a disciplinarian, I'm a disciplinarian.
Me too.
I'm gonna let you know. You know, now when you think of the mindset of young people today. You know, I don't say nothing to them anymore
Exactly.
because of who I am. I had a situation right here in this church, in that back room there. If my wife hadn't been there to push me in the back, and that young boy running up on me, I might would have did what that man done. I'm telling you, I don't say nothing to too many people's kids around here anymore. And then, you know, somehow or another we done skipped the, disciplinary action in the generation.
Yeah.
You know, and then you'll tell me, you'll see me around here sometimes say, I'm not talking to the kids.
Talk to
That
you.
generation, I'm talking to the generation of kids that's my kids, my children's age. And all the stuff that's going on in school, them kids didn't just get up and go to school and decide that they was going to attack a teacher.
Exactly.
They ain't going to attack somebody at home.
Exactly.
It's not happening.
Exactly.
They
Stuff,
don't attack somebody at home.
that stuff
So
they
yeah,
been doing.
I take
stuff.
young people serious
Okay.
when it comes to
You
physical
better take them
things.
serious.
When it comes to a physical thing now, I might pass a couple words with guys your age, but now, if I'm talking to some of these young people now, and they make the first move, I'm gonna hit him, brother.
I mean, for me, if it's I look at things a little different, and maybe maybe that's just my makeup. If it's a guy, and again, we're gonna get back to this, but I'm gonna let you guys get your statements out. If it's a guy, and he think he grown, and he running up on me, he might get treated like a grown man. You understand? Now, a young lady, I'll be like, girl, you better, get out of here, get away from me, and I know young women can kill you too. I know that. But if you see the video, you'll be like, that was uncalled for. It was uncalled for, Yes, I saw another hand.
I couldn't see the video, but I do say that you have to be careful with young folks now. See, because the first thing, when he pushed her, that should have been enough for her to say, well, look, I'm not going back in there.
Amen.
But when she ran back on him,
Yeah. If you see the video, yeah.
well, like I said, I'm not defending the video
Right, I
at all.
understand. You just go by what you
But what I'm
can
saying
The
is
thing,
that
she was just in his face.
you have to be careful
Acting,
with
she
young
was
people.
fussing.
Right.
I mean, she was like, coming, she was fussing like a little girl. He like, boom,
He pushed her like
I'm like,
pushed her
whoa.
like.
from head to that scream.
I don't even think he would have pushed a grown man like that.
Right.
I really don't. I think he was showing up because he knew. That's just me. And I don't want to stay too much on that because I don't want our Bible study to become about that dude. But for real, yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, bottom line, two wrongs do not make a right. So
And-
they were both wrong.
Exactly.
Just let me say this about
Yeah.
it. Like I say, I'm a disciplinarian, right? If I know it's a situation that I can't handle, and you may have to hear me say it around here, I don't say nothing to them. I might go try to find your parents or somebody else and tell them, go check on them kids. Because I don't want to be involved.
Right. And that's the wisdom that we need in this day and time. And we all know, speaking of the being obedient to parents and the Lord, that even, in a sense you can look at that as even church parents. Because all of us, as we know the cliche, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, church is a village, if you will, the body of Christ. And we all supposed to be looking out for each other's children. However, because of society, this Western culture that we live in, a lot of things have been watered down and softened up and changed. For example, we all know that you can't discipline your child like we would discipline. You can't do it, not unless you're on an abuse charge, and you can't say anything to anybody's child. And the teachers that are in school, they get told that if a student hits you, you're not supposed to hit the student back. Now, I've worked with juveniles or at the distance. I've worked with the people who work directly with the juveniles. Now, my thing is this. I can't do juvenile. I can't work in a juvenile institution because of what their standard is. You supposed to just I had to go and teach defensive tactics to some juvenile people. So I know what their standard is. Their standard is you have to put them in holds and things like that. And you got guys the size of Reverend Thornton, 12 or 15 years old, his size.
You know, I worked the Hickey with those
Knocking
guys.
people out, knocking out counselors and security, knocking out, bah, bah. And all you're supposed to do is restrain this person. I can't do that. So I know I'm going to work with men where I know that if you do something to me, I'm going to do what I have to do to you. Yes, sir.
And I used to work at Hickey, and I was the chief security there, and them kids are off the hook. You know, and some of them kids are huge,
Yeah.
off the hook. And I recall one time a kid was about 6'5", about 220, 230 pounds, turned up the day run. And all we always had is juveniles monitors on campus, monitoring how we handle them. So he went so crazy, he chased all the monitors out the place, right? And then I had a guy named Crawford, rest his soul, he was passed away not too long ago. Crawford was about 6'6", 300 pounds. And Crawford suplexed the kid basically and dislocated his shoulder, but they wrote it up. You know?
I understand.
It was written up, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is that, I mean, those kids were off the hook, and they were, I mean, a lot of them were on medication and stuff like that. So, you know, and trying to do the tactics they asked you to do.
Right.
I mean, even me, they told me,
It's kinda hard.
they said, don't wear a tie. I wore a tie one time.
And you didn't realize.
And they tried to choke you with that
They tried to kill you with that tie. That's why in correctional and law enforcement, they would do breakaways.
Yeah.
So when you pull a tie, it pulls away. It's like a child tie. It pulls
Yep.
away. You know, because we had to wear ties, but they was always breakaways. You know. But anyway, it tells the children to honor their father and mother. And it says that that's the first commandment with a promise. That, and we know that there have been some children who have died before of age. So everything is not because that we didn't honor their mother and father. I know a guy that I worked directly with. His son died from playing football. The guy who came here, you guys know the guy that came here to teach the run, hide, and fight. Well, his son was playing football and got tackled and put a tear in his heart. He was a good boy. Went to church, saved, and was playing football in the semi-pro team. He was like 25 at the time. Got hit, put a tear in his heart, died. He called me late at night. My son died. I said, what? My son died. You know, he was at the hospital when it happened. I went to the funeral and everything. This happened just about 6 years ago now, if not a little longer. But the point is, he was an obedient son. Sometimes things do happen. So, you know, because the reason that came to mind, because that was one of the questions, you know, that their family had. Well, you know, he honored us. Why come his days weren't long? You know, but the blessing was his jersey number was, if I'm not mistaken, it was 54, and 54 young men came to Christ that day. The same jersey number, whatever his jersey number was the same amount of people that came to Christ that day at that church. It was at Mount Pleasant, where the funeral was. So it was like, wow. It was like, wow. So, anyway. So sometimes, you know, the commandment is that it has a promise to it, that your days will be long upon the face of earth. But the thing about it is, if you are disobedient to your parents, see, that's the thing. It's the disobedience. If you're disobedient to your parents, how your days going to be long? Your disobedience eventually is going to take you out of here. Because we know that we done, and especially in Baltimore, all these people out here getting shot and killed, and you know some of their parents told them, you don't need to be out there, you don't need to be doing this, you don't need to be doing that. Somebody told them, but then you get the ones that's good that go out there and fall into the hands of some some evil that takes place. Well, that it may be well with the person, with the child, and thou mayest live long on the earth. Then he says, but then he talks to the parents, talks to the fathers. Because again, in this culture that we hear in, everything was directed to the men. That's why in the Bible, a lot of people say that the Bible is sexist, but it's not sexist. It's the culture that they were dealing with, that Paul was writing to. During that culture, everything was directed to the men. You. Even God did that. You. Because the men have the responsibility. Women have responsibility too. But we as men, we have a commitment to do what we're supposed to do. And children have a commitment, and the mothers have a commitment. So everybody has a commitment to do what they're supposed to do. In this case, children, obey your parents. And if you do that, you can live long. Unless some unforeseen thing happens. You can live long. But then it also said, parents, don't provoke your children to anger. Now, that's a deep thing right there. Because sometimes parents do it and know they do it. You got some parents out here that deliberately try to make their children mad or embarrass them and stuff like that. Say you got just one. Say you have a child that has a small bladder. He's a teenager. He keeps wetting the bed. He has a small bladder. Parents don't realize that his bladder's small because they just think that he just peeing the bed or she just peeing the bed on their own. They won't get the child checked out. So they embarrass him. They think that if they embarrass the child, that's going to make the child stop peeing the bed. So they put the pee-pee sheet, I'll say it like that, where the friends can sit when they come over. You see he's still peeing bed. Now, you've got your friends come over, and you put my sheet out there? You understand? That's provoking the anger. God says don't do that.
It was a show I watched a long time ago. I was young, and the white guy.
I think I remember that.
And the mother hung sheets
out the window.
And his girlfriend or somebody was coming. When he saw that, he ran in the house, he snatched the sheets. I was like, even then I was like, oh, that was wrong.
That's on blast.
That's on blast.
I tell you now, I was one of those. I went to bed for a long time. Man, my father would come home, brother, the first thing he'd do, come to the bedroom and whip my behind. I was almost to the point where I said, I hate this nigga.
Because he didn't understand. He was provoking you to anger.
He didn't understand. The family, one Saturday, had my grandfather, and Daddy came home, and he first thing from work 11 to 7, right to my bedroom, and my grandfather stopped him. My grandfather told me, you stop beating that boy, something got to be wrong with him. My granddaddy told him. My wife will tell you, I've told this story a couple times.
Yeah.
My grandfather
You
told
wait
me,
till now and tell your tale.
if you whip him, you gonna have to whip me from now on. That's when he stopped.
Amen. That's good.
I must have been about 10, 12 years old. But when I went to sleep, I went to sleep. That was it.
You was knocked out. You was down.
Couldn't explain it to him.
But he didn't want to. He couldn't
Oh
understand.
man, I think that was the hardest time in my life with my feelings towards my father. Now after I outgrown it and everything.
Right. And we
I
learn
used
to
to hate the same
forgive
brother.
and let things go. But our parents have provoked us to anger. And I'm sure everybody here have probably had their parents provoking to anger. And we probably have provoked our children to anger unknowingly or knowingly. Yes, you said.
My mother provoked me to anger because I got saved, right? And then she was like, you didn't say go play my live. Now I'm not playing the live. I'm going to play my live, I'm going to put you out. So where I'm going to go?
You're
So I
going
had
to
to
play
go
that
play
live.
the live. And I got saved and somebody said, I thought you got saved. So I'm playing live with my mother. Yeah, right. And they didn't believe me. And I was so mad. I said, I have to play this live now. I'm not doing that anymore. So I still had to play the lottery, so I ain't had nowhere to go.
There's a lot of people here that say they played loud.